Hey everybody, my name's Ed. Okay, so today we're going to do another trade review. Today we're going to look at Seeds. Now, Seeds is an experimental sci-fi thriller from Dark Horse Comics by Ann Nocenti, most known for Daredevil at Marvel, and David Asia, also known for Marvel work with Hawkeye and the Immortal Iron Fist. It started out as a miniseries in 2018 and was paused for a while and completed a couple of years later as a finished trade. And so my copy I have here is from 2020. So the premise is basically that there's a wall that separates this city from the zone, and the zone is this mysterious area where technology doesn't work. So some people go there willingly to escape the troubles of modern life. Meanwhile, there's not just problems related to technology and the media in the current world, but also environmental issues and conspiracies involving extraterrestrial aliens. A cynical reporter tries to get to the bottom of things, but perhaps she gets in over her head. So now the world is in kind of decline, and the reporter's name Astra, and she's asked to get a high-profile clickbait story for a newspaper editor, and perhaps something pertaining to do with drugs or maybe the rumors of an alien conspiracy that are happening. Now, Astra would rather do something more substantive, maybe about the wall, but she agrees to her editor's whims. And elsewhere, a young woman named Lola is having a sexual affair with a guy named Race, who turns out to be an extraterrestrial alien. The reporter finds out about this and tries to follow them beyond the wall where they further their affair. And it seems like the aliens are here and they're kind of collecting seeds and samples from the earth and, taking them away. Meanwhile, the bees and other parts of the ecology seem to be dying, and all these mysteries ultimately intersect with each other. So I'd say the overall feel of the book is kind of deep and mysterious. It blends symbolism with its various issues. It's an interesting mix of a kind of a loose plot with some strong visuals. The story is pretty much about issues of the day. It wrestles with the power and influence of media and truth versus fake news, how technology takes over some people's lives and leaves them alienated from the world. There's the obvious symbolism of the wall, and again, it's kind of hinting at climate change with the dying of certain ecology, and then how corporations are probably complicit in all of this. I'd say the Seeds is also about alienation and desire for connection. So you have like the reporter Astra, who's very cynical and doesn't really relate easily to other people. The young woman Lola, who's physically challenged, is having an affair with the alien named Race. And the assumption is she assumedly can't have that same sort of relationship with normal men, and she kind of hopes to run away with him. And in that way, the Seeds is almost kind of as much of a doom love story as it is a science fiction story, at least their part of it. So now the writing by Ann Nocenti is pretty interesting, if a little challenging. So the characters speak in this clipped dialogue. It's not necessarily realistic, but it does move the story along. In a few places, the script is a little exposition heavy in the dialogue and the captions, while jumping from scene to scene, and we get all these random cuts to birds and bees and scenery. However, the story does flow at a quick pace and it doesn't get too boring. It's not super hard to follow. There's a fair amount of humor. Ironically enough, the humor is more effective in the more fantastical scenes between the aliens than it is when the humans are interacting. Now, David Asia has an interesting art style. He combines a distinct sense of design, cinematic cuts, and pure comic strip layout to create a real unique storytelling method. Sorry, excuse me. His use of time breaks and panel layouts kind of combine, I'd say, Will Eisner, Jim Steranko, Frank Miller, probably a few other people I'm not thinking of right now. And here he mostly uses a formal 7 to 9 grid structure on many of the pages in the book, although not exclusively. Where appropriate, he will mix in larger panels for scene setting and emotional impact. I'd say the comic is mostly in black and white with gray-green monochrome overlays and midtones. He does display a great use of shadows and solid blacks, does well rendered backgrounds, and it kind of creates a real striking, involving mood and atmosphere. Aja is also talented in his use of naturalistic poses and body language for his characters. He is able to confidently express understated emotions while still being clear in their meanings. And in some ways, maybe the art's a little bit cinematic, but I say it's very much a comic book, comic book graphics. Okay, so just to wrap up, or actually here, let me just show you some of that art. Sorry about that. So just to give you a quick taste. All right. Oh, here, let's do it this way. Okay. All right. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay. All right. And like I said, nice scene setting. And then now we're back to the formal grid. So there's a fair amount of this. Okay. All right. Now I don't want to give away too much. But all right, okay. So yeah, just to wrap it up, The Seeds by Ann Nesenti and David Asia. It's an interesting book. It's a sci-fi tale that, beyond the extraterrestrial conspiracy, it touches on various themes dealing with technology, climate change, media manipulation, alienation, and human connections. It's a challenging read, as the comic utilizes different styles of storytelling through its symbolism, stark visuals, and sometimes disjointed text, and it results in a bold, expressionistic work. It's not a perfect book, but it is a very interesting read. Okay, so that's it. I've got to thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it, and you enjoy the rest of the day. Have a great one. Thank you.